The invasion of Fela Kuti's house by 1,000 uniformed men will never be forgotten. It started with a road incident, supposedly between some of Fela's boys and a couple of uniformed men on duty. His residence at 14 Agege Motor Road was known as Kalakuta Republic. It was more than just a home. It was a sanctuary of music and activism, surrounded by high walls, an electrified fence, and a reinforced gate. Inside, Fela lived with his family, band members, both male and female, and other followers, all of whom embraced his radical stance. The chaos began with a road altercation between some of Fela's boys and uniformed men on duty. What seemed like a minor dispute quickly escalated into a heated standoff as the uniformed men pursued the young men into Kalakuta Republic, only to be met with stiff resistance from its occupants, including boys from Empire, a nearby hood. As tensions grew, word spread rapidly. A massive crowd gathered outside, drawn by the commotion, watching as the confrontation intensified. Unable to force their way in due to the electrified barriers, the uniformed men called for reinforcements and have power to his compound disconnected. Moments later, an overwhelming force, nearly 1,000 soldiers and police officers, arrived, determined to break into the compound by any means necessary. After a 3-hour standoff, with overwhelming numbers, the uniformed men finally forced their way into Kalakuta Republic, unleashing unimaginable chaos. Fela Kuti, the fearless musician and activist, was at the center of it all. He was dragged out, beaten mercilessly, his body battered by fists, boots, and rifle butts. His piercing cries echoed through the compound as he struggled against the assault. Nearby, a tragic confrontation unfolded. Madam Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, Fela's mother, a revered nationalist and political activist in her late 70s, stood her ground, questioning the brutality. But mercy was absent that day. In the scuffle, she was violently thrown from a first-floor window, crashing to the hard ground below, a moment that would haunt history. Inside, Fela's band members and residents suffered similar fates, many beaten beyond recognition, women harassed, and personal belongings ransacked. Instruments, records, and precious artifacts of a movement were either destroyed or stolen. Stacks of money meant for sustaining the commune vanished into the hands of the invaders. As the assault reached its peak, the compound itself became a target. Flames erupted, devouring Kalakuta Republic, the very symbol of Fela's defiance. Thick, black smoke spiraled into the Lagos sky as the crowd outside watched in shock and horror. What had been a beacon of resistance was now reduced to ashes. As the smoke settled and the ruins of Kalakuta Republic lay in smoldering embers. Officials labeled the commune a haven for so-called bad boys and girls, dismissing it as a place of disorder rather than the creative and political sanctuary it truly was. Fela and his family were stripped of their home and land, left with nothing but the scars of that brutal day. But the deepest wound came a year later. Madam Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, Fela's mother, never fully recovered from her injuries. The fall from the window had shattered more than her body. It broke her spirit. In 1978, she passed away, a tragic consequence of the violence inflicted upon her. Seeking justice, Fela took his case against the government to court, demanding accountability. But under the military regime, there was no justice to be found. The case was dismissed, with authorities claiming that the attack had been carried out by unknown uniformed men, a phrase that echoed through history as a chilling reminder of unchecked power. And so, to this day, the Kuti family has never received justice for the horrors they endured on that fateful day in 1977. On the very ground where Kalakuta Republic once stood, the only memorial to the family's legacy is a school, named in their honor, a quiet reminder of the sacrifice they endured.